Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me once again today, and welcome to Dominions 5. We're going to be starting another single-player campaign of this game, basically because the multiplayer campaign is going to take a little while. Of course, I can't post those videos until the game progresses, because I don't want my opponents to be able to see what I'm doing in real time. I want them to be on a delay of about a year or more, ideally. And since the game's been paused over Christmas, can't post any more videos of that just yet. Plus, I won't be able to post any more than 4 or 5 days at best, in order to let the turns run ahead and then I can kind of catch up. So, instead, today, to kind of fill in some of the gaps, we are going to play a late age game, and we're going to explore one of the late age factions that I kind of enjoy, although it's not the strongest, which is Jomon. Where is Jomon gone? There it is, Jomon, Human Daimyos. This is the third in a series of factions following basically Japanese mythology. So in the early ages, you had Yomi, the Oni kings, which was a realm ruled by these demons, these giants from the netherworld, who were very, very powerful fire, earth, and death mages, and they had various special abilities. They spawned Oni. We've talked about Yomi before, because we've seen it before. They have relatively few and weak troops, but they free spawn Oni. They have these Naminari mages, which can be upgraded by rituals to become more powerful and more demonic. They have these sorcerers that have fire and earth and death magic, and then they have the Dai Oni, who are extremely powerful super combatants in their own right, as well as having a bunch of other cool features. They cause fear and all that good stuff. Of course, Yomi is actually right next to me in the multiplayer game where I'm playing as Machaka. Then in the Middle Ages, you had Shinuyama, the land of the Bakemono, where the Oni have been driven away, and the Bakemono, the goblins, have taken over instead. And so the Bakemono, they can recruit kappas, which is interesting. They're an amphibious type of unit. And then they have these goblin troops. They have the Bakemono generals, and then they have the Bakemono sorcerers, which are kind of like the Onis in their magic paths, but also have some water magic. And the Ubas have some water. The Bakemono shamans have randoms that include water. So fairly similar. And then you have the Dai Bakemono, which are actually quite potent troops and do a ton of damage. And then they have summonable, a lot of the same summons, and a lot of supernatural kind of abilities and creatures. So then in the late ages, so first you had the demons in charge, then the demons eventually were driven out by the goblins, the Bakemono. Once the entrance to the netherworld closed, the Oni just sort of dwindled away, and eventually the last of the big bad Dai Oni died, and the Bakemonos took over. Then in the late ages, the Bakemono get driven out, and what's left is the humans. After years and years of being enslaved by the goblins, finally the humans successfully rebelled, and one by one they drove the Bakemono tribes out. So now what's left is the humans, primarily. Jomon has a bunch of interesting units. They're not a very strong faction, but they are kind of cool. For one thing, they have ninjas, who are assassins. They can climb walls, so they can get into castles even when they are under siege and assassinate people inside them. They're very, very stealthy. I think they might be the stealthiest unit in the game, naturally. And they have pretty decent combat stats, and since they only cost 1 recruitment point, you can pump them out 2 at a time from a fort. So assassinating enemy commanders with ninjas actually is relatively viable for Jomon. They have a variety of commanders. Gokenin are only notable because they are slightly better than standard, bog standard commanders. They have 60 leadership instead of 40. Hatamotos have 80 leadership and a morale bonus, and then Daimyos have 120 leadership, so these are quite effective commanders. Magic-wise, Jomon is interesting, because, for one thing, their priests have a chance to have magic. They have level 2 priests, the high priests. They also have these monks of the fivefold path, and monks of the fivefold path are level 1 priests that also have a level of elemental magic, and they get a unique holy spell based on what level of magic they randomly get. They also have an okay research ability, which means that these guys, since they're sacred, and thus very, very cheap, and priestly, These guys can be used as your research monkeys and to lead small parties of sacred troops to expand. So they're decent for that and very cheap. The Shugenjas have a level of earth magic and then an extra level of elemental magic. This does mean that 20% of them have earth 2, which is quite valuable, and another 20% have fire 1, earth 1, which is a decent combat cross path. The other ones are not terribly useful in combat, but they can cast some summoning spells that are quite useful. So Shugenjas are pretty decent. They're just not exciting. They're not special in any way. The two special, well, there's 3 special mages that Jomon has. First, you have the Onmyoji. Onmyoji are slow to recruit, but not that expensive. They're fortune tellers, so they prevent bad events. They start with 2 levels of astral and then 2 randoms in elemental paths. Astral magic and blood magic, which is like astral in some ways, are much more common in the late age. And astral magic makes communions possible. A communion is where I've never done communions on the channel, and honestly I haven't done communions much in general, but strategy-wise, a communion basically allows you to link a whole bunch of mages together, with most of them supporting a few who are casting spells. The mages who are casting spells effectively have their magic paths boosted by the others who are not casting spells. So you have communion masters, the guys in charge, and communion slaves. The communion slaves are providing magical support to the masters and buffing their paths. So an Onmyoji with 2 astral, with some communion slaves linked, might have effectively 3 or 4 astral, allowing him to cast more powerful astral spells. Also, the fatigue cost of those spells is split between the master and the slaves, which allows him to keep casting spells for longer. Now, the downside is, if the mages don't have the same paths, that split up fatigue is effectively multiplied. If the master is better at magic than the slaves are, then the slaves will take a lot more fatigue than they should, and if their fatigue goes too high, they start taking damage. So it is entirely possible to kill a bunch of your own mages if you have a poorly set up communion and your communion masters keep casting high fatigue spells. But the ability to make communions is useful and can be very handy, especially if you get one that has like 2 fire or 2 earth or 2 air, basically has 2 of any of these paths. Adding them to a communion can allow them to get off a couple of very powerful spells that might be very useful. You also have the Master Shugenjas, and Master Shugenjas have Earth and Nature magic, and then they get 2 more randoms. This means that you have the potential to have either 3 Earth or 3 Nature, which is fairly rare in the late age. In the late age, most mages are relatively low level, but have multiple paths. So it's very common to have a mage in the late era that has 3 or even 4 paths at level 1 or level 2 maybe. Whereas in the early era, very often you would have a mage that had, 2 paths at level 3 or 4. Also, Master Shugenjas are not slow to recruit, so these guys can be pretty good mainstay battle mages in the mid and late game. Now, the other interesting commander that Jomon has is the Ryujin. And the interesting thing is, notice, Ryujin can only be recruited in underwater forts. That's right, Jomon has these units that can only be recruited when they build a fort underwater, which is very interesting because Jomon has no natural way to get underwater. If you want to use your own troops to do it, basically you have to get a water random mage and then forge a few magical items to give to a commander, and then take an army underwater, which is very slow and inefficient. But the Ryujin is very worth it. Slow to recruit, 4 recruitment points, but the Ryujin has 3 levels of water, 2 linked randoms, so it's guaranteed to have 2 paths in one of these paths, amphibious, shock and fire and cold and poison resistant, so resistant to all the elements, magical, can shape change into a dragon, and can fly, plus of course is water breathing, and has dark vision. In addition to that, it has pretty decent attacks and can spray poison. So what this all adds up to is the Ryujin is a fantastic thug chassis. With water magic, you can cast several buffs on yourself that are very effective. If you get linked air randoms or earth randoms, you can cast even more effective buffs. They can fly. They have a pretty high combat speed and decent combat stats and high hit points. They also have this Dragon Pearl thing, which gives them a temporary water gem in every battle. So, Ryujins are excellent thugs, excellent raiders, and they can also lead magical armies. And in addition, they're just powerful battle mages. So you really, really want Ryujins. The problem is getting underwater. Underwater, you can also recruit crab generals, which are pretty cool. They have void sanity, less likely to go insane when influenced by the void, which is actually important in the late age. It's not really relevant in many circumstances, but if you have a player playing Rodya, this will keep your units from going crazy when Rodya's dominion comes near you. You can also recruit these shrimp soldiers underwater and these shark warriors, which are very, very powerful amphibious units. Expensive, but can be worth it. Now, so mage-wise, okay, Ryujins are fantastic. The only problem is they're slow to recruit, and it's very, very hard for Jomon to get them, especially if there is an aquatic race in the game. Jomon is usually basically locked out of these guys. Mage-wise, Jomon's not exceptional. Shugenjas are okay for their price, just many of them are not terribly useful. Master Shugenjas are useful, and they will be leaned on quite heavily. Onmyojis are powerful, but expensive and slow to recruit, which makes them hard to use. Also, the fact that they have all these randoms means that setting up efficient communions with Onmyoji is difficult. Setting up efficient communions is difficult in general, but it's even more difficult with Onmyoji. Troop-wise, Jomon has a bunch of pretty solid-looking troops in general. The Ashigaru has decent protection, decent stats across the board. The Aka Oni Samurai are actually very, very good, and their sacreds are even pretty decent. Sohei have okay stats and are sacred, and are very standard otherwise, decent protection, while Yamabushi have very good stats, including an incredibly high attack, but are undisciplined and so hard to control. Here's the downside. There is not a single Jomon unit with a shield. They have cavalry, they've got hard-hitting sacreds, they've got pretty good archers, the samurai archers, but all of their units are fairly expensive in resources, and none of them are shielded. Which in the late age especially, which is full of crossbows, is a serious, serious problem. An independent province full of crossbows can massacre a Jomon expansion party just based on the luck of the draw, and it's very, very difficult to deal with. So, you can see their magic sites down here. They get earth, nature, fire, and air gems every turn. So a lot of variety of gems, not a whole lot of concentrated power. So, mage-wise, average. Troop-wise, actually pretty weak, because these Jomonese troops are just very, very hard to keep alive in the age of crossbows. Now, Jomon does have some very interesting national summons. They have a lot of national summons, actually. Some of which are efficient, some of which are not. They can summon a couple different types of tengu, which are high attack, fragile, flying units. Those will be very, very useful, especially because they are also sacred. So for expansion purposes especially, having flying units that you can set to attack the rear is quite valuable. Now, as for my plan, what I have done is, I've already created the god in fact, I've already started the game. But, so in the late age, I've created General Confusion, of course. And General Confusion is a Celestial Dragon. And I chose Celestial Dragon because the Celestial Dragon comes with air and astral magic, and I have taken him awake. Because I gave him 6 points of air magic, he lost 1 because he's shown in dragon form. He can shape change into a dude, which gives him a point of air magic back. But General Confusion, the Celestial Dragon, has high hit points, pretty good stats, including high protection and decent defense skill. 6 points of air magic, so while he's awake, I have the Air Shield Bless. And Air Shield blocks 80% of missiles that hit a blessed unit. So this is how I intend to keep my sacred units alive. Because with this Air Shield, they will be highly, highly resistant to those crossbow bolts that otherwise would be killing them. In addition, General Confusion himself is a pretty decent super combatant if I can get him some buffs. He has a fear aura, he's resistant to elements, he can fly, and he's amphibious, so he can go underwater, suffering no penalty. So hopefully, I will be able to use General Confusion to grab a water province fairly early on and start the process of building up a fort, lab, and temple to get those Ryujin, because I really, really want them. They will make things so much better if I can get them. They're blessable. They have these great magic paths. Oh, they have so many good qualities. They're just expensive and really, really hard to reach. So, that's enough explanation, I think. Let's get into the game. Okay, so here we are. So strategy-wise, as I said, I hope to get into the water very quickly with General Confusion and get a hold of some Ryujin. The Ryujin will act as flying thugs and army reinforcements. Since they can move so quickly, they will be able to reinforce my troops very effectively. For expansion, I am going to rely on Yamabushi. I didn't talk about my scales. In order to take an awake, expanding monster, I had to trash my scales. I've got 2 points of misfortune. Hopefully the Onmyoji will help mitigate that somewhat. I was only able to take 1 point of growth and 1 point of productivity. I need productivity because my troops are so high resource. I really wish I had more, but I didn't want to take any more negative scales, so we're kind of stuck with it. I did take 7 points of dominion, which is pretty decent, so hopefully my dominion will spread. It won't help me all that much, but maybe it'll help. Recruitment-wise, I'm going to rely on the Yamabushi, because they are sacred, they hit very, very hard, I know they're undisciplined, and their morale ain't great. But the other option is the Sohei, who have great morale, but not a very high attack. Well, I might actually want to use the Sohei. I'm going to try the Yamabushi first. So we're going to recruit as many Yamabushi as we can, which is 4, and then we'll get an Ashigaro to go along with it. Nope, we only have 6 resources. So we'll just keep recruiting more Sohei, I guess. To lead them, we're going to get some Monks of the Fivefold Path. Now, Monks of the Fivefold Path technically have 0 leadership, but if they get fire magic, they have some leadership. And they're decent research monkeys, so we're going to start recruiting them right away. We start off with a Gokenin, who is going to become a prophet. We also start off with a ninja, and the ninja is going to move out. Meanwhile, General Confusion is going to change shape to be a person, which gives him a little bit more research, turns him into a celestial bureaucrat, and you can see he gains 1 path in air and astral when I do that. He automatically has the air shield because he is blessed, but he is just going to research. Now, magic-wise, for research, I start off with a level of Conjuration, Alteration, and Thaumaturgy. In Conjuration, you can see I have a bunch of special spells. I can summon Kappas, which is unimportant. I can summon Ko-Oni if I have death magic, which are demons. This is a spell that all eras of this nation have. It's not relevant to me because I don't have any death magic. I have no natural death magic, so I am locked out of the Oni spells unless I take a death pretender and try to get into death magic in a big way. The spells I can cast, I can summon Karasu Tengus, which are flying sacred units. They can fly during storms, they can throw lightning, and they have a high attack skill as well as high defense. Konoha Tengus are slightly weaker, but I get more of them, and I get even more if a higher level caster casts it. Now notice, air and earth, these are cross paths I can easily have with Shugenjas. Karasu Tengus, I can easily have those cross paths on Master Shugenjas. I can summon tigers for some reason. I mean, that's cool, I guess. More Onis up here. Ghost General I can't do because once again it requires death. I can contact Jigamis, who are nature mages, and who basically have a big supply bonus, which is nice. I can also contact Dai Tengus, and Dai Tengus are powerful, powerful air mages, and I believe they're also Holy 3, or at least Holy 2. So they're quite useful. In addition, for those 55 gems, I also get 10 Tengu warriors and 15 Karasu Tengus. So I get a pretty strong flying air force for my 55 gems. And Dai Tengus can cast Storm, and all Tengus can fly during storms. So that would be very much useful. I can contact Nushis, which are swamp spirits. They're not very efficient, especially because they have homesickness, so if they leave the swamp they were summoned in, they start to lose hit points. I can contact Kaijin. Kaijin are kind of budget Ryujin. It can only be cast underwater. They're okay thugs, but not as good as the Ryujin, and they lose some of their powers when they leave water, so they're not as good. They do have nets, which is pretty cool. I can summon Ujigami with the Omyoshi, and they are ghost generals who have holy levels. And they also have some fortune teller, I believe. They do lose some of their holy... They lose a holy level if they leave the province they were summoned in. But, oh well, it only costs 8 earth gems, so that could be useful. Mori no Kami are nature mages from the forests, but they get smaller and lose power if they leave the forest. Are you seeing a theme here? A lot of these summons are cool, but very, very limited by homesickness. At level 6, I can summon Tatsus, who are earth dragons. They're actually not bad, but in order to contact them, you have to have 3 earth, which is rare. Kenzoku are basically just spiritual thugs. They have awe, I believe, which makes them pretty nice. They only cost 9 astral pearls, so that might be worth looking into when I get up that way. I don't have any idea what a Gozu Mezu is. Oh, that summons the ox head and horse face, so just units. The Kitsune is pretty cool. Kitsune have a lot of randoms, so they can be extremely powerful, and they always have a bunch of nature levels. In addition, they can change shape into foxes or into people, and in human form, I believe they have Seduce, and they also have Spying. So probably not worth the gems, but cool. And then way up here at level 7, at level 8 I could summon Dai-Oni, but I don't have Earth and Fire. But at level 7 I can get Yama no Kami, who are mountain gods. They have a lot of magic, but once again, if they leave their mountain, they lose a whole bunch of power. So basically they're underpriced, but not worth very much, because you can't take them anywhere, and if you do, they become really weak. So out of all of these special summons, a lot of them I can't do. Kitsune are pretty good. Kenzoku can be useful, so can Tatsu. Tatsu, I believe, have linked randoms, like 2 linked randoms, which is not bad. Mori no Kami, not very useful. Uchigami, not terribly useful. Kaijin are pretty good. Nushi, not very useful. Daitengu, very useful. Jigami, okay, not bad. And Konoha and Karasu Tengus are quite good. They might be even better in Dominions 5 because of the changes to flying. So research-wise, I'm thinking I want to go down Conjuration at least a couple of levels first. I probably want to get to level 3. That gets me Summon Earth Power for my Earth Magic mages, and it gets me both kinds of Tengu, as well as the Ambush of Tigers if I ever want that. Plus a lot of the basic spells. After that, I want to go down Evocation, probably. Down to level 3 as well to get Magma Bolts. Probably not going to bother with level 4 immediately, but level 3 will let my fire random Shugenjas become useful in combat. With level 3 Conjuration and level 3 Evocation, I'll then be able to look towards equipping my Ryujin Thugs. That'll probably be about the quickest I can get them unless I'm very lucky, so at that point, I'll want Alteration, and I will want to go down to level 4, which will give me Liquid Body and Quickness, which are the quintessential water buffs. In addition, for the air randoms, I'll be able to do Mist Form, and for the earth randoms, I'll be able to do Iron Skin. With Construction, I'll go up to level 4. That will allow me to create a whole bunch of magic items that will be very, very useful, including the basic thug weapons and all that stuff. And eventually I'll want to go down to level 6. But first of all, so we're going to do Conjuration level 3, Evocation level 3, and then we're going to do Alteration level 4. Nope, level 4. And then we'll reassess there. So we're just going to line that all up and let it ride. So that, I think, is going to be turn 1. And let's see what we have around us. Okay, so this is an 8-player game, 7 AIs and me, and I've set them all to difficult, so I've turned them up a little bit. So we've got Arcocephale. Ooh, we have Lemuria. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so Arcocephale, lots of different magic paths. They have hoplite troops, they have war elephants, they have some ape troops, which are large and strong, but not especially skilled, and they have a lot of astral magic. Lemuria is a pop kill nation, by which I mean their dominion kills population. They're a nation of entirely undead, all their troops are ghosts, They spawn ghosts for free, and their ghosts are ethereal and have weapons that are resisted by magic resistance as opposed to armor. They're a huge pain to fight. They're like middle-aged Urmor, kind of, because basically their Dominion kills everything around them, so there's actually no benefit to beating them, because you don't get any value out of their provinces. And you have to kill them, or they will wipe everyone out. It's a serious, serious problem. We have me, of course. We have Midgard, who is a primarily human nation, using, I think they use air magic and water, and I think astral. There might be some blood in there. And we have Erythria, which is an amphibious nation that has powerful underwater troops. Crap. Also, I have just realized something that I messed up. In this game, this is a wraparound map, by the way, I did not change the default settings on Thrones of Ascension, so I don't actually even know how many there are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 thrones, and 1 is level 2, so there's a total of 9 points, and you have to take 7 of them. So this might be a little bit of a long game. We've got the Throne of the Moon, which gives you astral and water. Dominion gets growth +1, blessed troops get precision +3. Okay, Throne of the Second Age gives you strength and dominion spread. Brass Throne gives you fire, earth, and money. The Throne of Flames gives you fire resistance and fire gems. Throne of Might gives more strength. Throne of the Stars gives astral. Throne of Bones gives undying +3. That's pretty cool. And the Throne of Law gives order. Okay, interesting. Also, I have turned score graphs on. So with score graphs on, you can look at all the different nations in all these various different categories and see who's doing the best. So you can see this is all just starting income based on the provinces. Lemuria, of course, has almost no income because everyone is dead. Gem income, however, Lemuria is the highest. All they have is death gems, and they get a whole bunch of them. So we also have, what we didn't see was we have Rodya. Rodya is another underwater nation. They're also another pop kill nation. Well, slightly different. Their dominion doesn't kill population, it just drives everyone insane. Now, fortunately, Jomon's national underwater troops have Void Sanity, which means they have less of a chance of going insane when they're in Rodya's dominion. It's still going to be a problem, especially because Rodya spawns troops for free, so they're going to have massive, massive armies if we let them live any length of time. Raga is one of the descendants of Kalem in the Late Age. They have 2 different sets of troops and commanders that can be recruited depending on whether the province is hot or cold at the time, which is interesting, and it gives them access to a whole bunch of different things. They also have very powerful sacred flying units. They're very expensive, but they're very, very tough. Midgard we talked about. We have Pythium, which is interesting. That's another Urmor offshoot. They have a lot of poison, nature magic, as well as death. They can recruit hydras, which are regenerating and have a whole bunch of attacks. Okay, interesting. So let's get to the expansion. So Masatoki has made himself the Prophet. So we're going to make that group undisciplined, that's fine. Masatoki's going to come up here. He's going to cast Divine Blessing. And then just do whatever he can. Divine Blessing and cast spells. The archers are going to fire at enemy archers, probably. Well, with the wind shield... Yeah, let's fire at enemy archers just to keep the damage down. So over here we have a province that we are definitely not attacking because it has 70 units, mainly heavy cavalry. It has a ton of income, though. Population is very high. This, light infantry and crossbowmen. See, this is the problem with Jomon. Crossbowmen murder Jomonese troops. Militia, archers, and heavy infantry, and more income. Yeah, let's go that way. So you're going to go that way. This is Ichthyid warriors and Ichthyids. I might be able to take He Who Mounts the Clouds. What a title. The Rice Master. Wow. Wow, guys. That's sure something. So, Tokimichi, yeah, 0 leadership. Just out of curiosity, I've never actually checked this. Yeah, with 0 leadership, he can't even have any can't even lead any troops whatsoever. Okay, cool. That's fine. It'll have to be the Kanushis who lead our sacred troops then. But we'll keep recruiting monks of the Fivefold Path for at least a couple of turns, just to get a little bit of research going. General confusion now. I'm thinking he might be able to take on the Ictiids because he's strong enough that he won't get netted. With strength 24, the nets won't really hurt him. What spells can he cast? He can cast Personal Luck. He can cast False... Ooh, he can cast False Fetters. And he has a whole bunch of air magic. So it would have a pretty high area of effect. And he can cast Twist Fate. So let's do Twist Fate. Personal Luck. And then attack rear. Yeah, I don't think False Fetters is really worth it. Well, actually, let me see. How long does it last? Will not be able to move or fight until they have overcome the Fetters' magic. I'll tell you what, against Ictiids, that might be worth it, especially because it'll cost him almost no fatigue. Let's drop a couple of False Fetters. What's the range on it? 15? Okay, so... step back just a little bit, make them come to you. I'm going to try it, because I would really, really love to have an underwater province right off the bat. I'm just going to go for it. We're going to go for the gusto. We're going to see how it goes. Okay. My scout over here is just going to keep on moving. I've got some mountains up here that will provide a little bit of mobility issues, which is fine. The dragon scale mountains are a little bit cramped. There is a throne right there. Alright, let's see the next turn. Okay, Pythium has gotten a prophet. Battle in Emerald Lake. Let's see how it went. Hopefully well. You can see, yeah, we're still in the Dominion, so he has a whole bunch of hit points. And, of course, he has the Air Shield active. So he's casting Twist Fate. Got the Ictiids advancing. I think they're more than 15 away, though. So he's casting Personal Luck on himself. So the first successful attack against this unit will be negated, which is good. It'll keep him from getting netted for a little longer. Now he's lucky as well. So there's a 75% chance of not being harmed by any otherwise fatal attacks. By the time an otherwise fatal attack hits him, he'll probably be pretty messed up. And he's cast Charge Body on himself, which is good because he's highly shock resistant. So Charge Body will do a whole bunch of damage to the first person who actually hits him. Unfortunately, he is now off script. So now he's going to keep casting spells on himself, probably, and he's up to 33 fatigue, which is bad. I wanted him to attack rear. Is he going to attack rear? Yes, he's going to attack rear. Okay. Alright, there he is. Okay, he blasted somebody with the Charge Body. But he's already started taking damage. And he's stunned. Crap. Okay, so this can be a side effect of shock damage. I guess he did take some damage through his 14 shock resistance, which is really, really bad. Because now that he's stunned, his defense skill is 1. Which means that he's going to get absolutely stabbed to death. Why are they routing? Why are they routing? I mean, I'm not complaining, but... okay. Good job, General Confusion, the Celestial Dragon. You... okay. Great. He won. That's fantastic. Oh, wait, let me look at the other battle. See how my expansion party did. Okay, so we're firing at the archers just to try to get rid of them. We've cast the Divine Blessing, so these Yamabushi are now air shielded and have a little bit of extra morale, which is actually really important for Yamabushi, because their morale is not spectacular. And they are going to charge into this infantry. And yeah, the Yamabushi are doing a pretty good job cleaving through it. The heavy infantry, this one heavy infantry is going for the gusto, which I don't like. And he's now in melee with my prophet, which I really don't like. Please don't die. Your stats are too close for comfort. Like, way too close for comfort. Okay, we've routed them. Alright, good. We didn't take any casualties. Excellent. That's what I like to see. I'm a big fan. Thank you very much. We're going to recruit more Yamabushi. Currently got 4. That's going to give us 6 for 10. You can only lead 10 units, so let's recruit a Kanushi. 3 of those. Okay. Whew. We won. Down here. You are going to build... Actually, you're not going to build them. We're going to recruit an Ictiid Lord. And a whole bunch of Ictiids. Let's get some of them. Be 7 resources. Yeah, let's get some regular Ictiids and some Ictiid warriors. Just set those on repeat recruitment. Okay. There's only 10 over there. That has a Kraken, so we're not going to fight that. But we are going to take this province to get some more resources for the fort that we're going to build over here in Emerald Lake. So General Confusion, go take that province. I am going to change your scripting because False Fetters is not going to help you. So just Twist Fate, Personal Luck, and Attack Rear. Masatoki's army is going to go take on these guys. Yeah, that's mainly crossbowmen and heavy cavalry. That is a terrible province to attack. This would be a good province to attack. That province is also going to be terrible to attack. So I'm not going to attack it yet. We're just going to keep recruiting Yamabushi for a bit. Yamabushi are not going to be able to take this out. So our expansion is going to be a little bit slowed. We'll send Kinmichi up there. And we'll see what we can do. But I'm fantastically happy that I took Emerald Lake so early, and that there's another weak sea province here for General Confusion to snap up. I love it. I love it to death. Alright. Okay, unexpected event. Oh, Dominion +3. Excellent. A battle in Work Enum. Let's see how Work Enum did. I think I got this. They have a few crossbowmen, but not many. And with the air shield active, yeah, I got that air shield up just in time. Masatoki was about to get shot in the head. Okay, just trading arrow fire. The troops are coming in. Honestly, Ashigaru are not bad troops if you ignore the lack of a shield. They've got a long spear, so they have a chance to repel in melee. Decent attack, pretty high damage. Their only real downside is their low defense skill, and once again, no shield. These light infantry are throwing javelins at me, but oh well. The Yamabushi are going to come in and just mess them up. And the Ashigaru are going to kill some commanders, and the independent armies are routed. Excellent. I did lose an Ashigaru, but that's fine. In the Narian Sea, the dragon is attacking. Okay, so their Ictiid lords are behind. Excellent. So hopefully I'll be able to drop on top of them and take out some command. We've got Twist Fate. We've got Personal Luck. What does that leave me at fatigue-wise? That leaves me at 31 fatigue. Really? Oh, because I only have 1 Astral, I guess. Yeah, that will be why. Okay. In dragon form, I don't have much out. Okay, there goes one commander. Take the other commander out. Take him out. He's running. He's routed. Get after him. You are taking some damage. But they're routed. The Fear Aura. See, with these low morale units, the Fear Aura just kills them. Absolutely kills them. Okay, so we've got 2 more provinces. Ngai here is going to build a rock walls. That will take most of my money for this turn, but that's okay. General Confusion, that province possibly, but I'm not sure I want to extend that far. That province also possibly, but Triton Guards are more dangerous than Ictiids. So we're going to grab some more Ictiids, and we'll see what we can do then. I'm getting the regular Ichthyids because they have nets. Ichthyid warriors are otherwise better, but... Gonna move General Confusion back there. He'll help site search. Masatoki, with his little army here, is gonna take that province. Down here, all these guys are going in Koichi's command. You are going to cast Blessing. Blessing. So these guys are going to be up front, and Koichi is going to have to be, like, right up with them in order to get them in range. I don't think 10 Yamabushi are going to be able to take out 60 militia, heavy, and light cavalry. So we're going to swing them down that way and attack those infantry with them. I think 10 Yamabushi can take on 30 miscellaneous infantry. We'll keep building up some Ichthyids down here while we are constructing the rock walls. And this guy can go over here and see how that throne is doing. Okay. I think we're doing alright. I'm not going to recruit another Kanushi, however. I am going to start recruiting Shugenjas because I want to get some real magic going as quickly as possible. Monks of the Fivefold Path are nice and all, and good for research, but Shugenjas have the cross paths to actually summon the Karasu Tengu, not the Karasu Tengus, but the Konoha Tengus, the ones that random into air, so 1 out of 5 can summon Konoha Tengus, which would be really, really nice. So by the time I have Conjuration 3, I want to have a couple people who can summon those Tengus. Okay, late summer, Raga has finally declared a prophet. Battle in Scraw Point. I won, but I lost most of my Ashigarus, and I lost a Yamabushi. So that light infantry probably did it with javelins, I imagine. Retreat details. 7 units dispersed and retreated on their own. What? And only 2 made it back to friendly territory. Wow. What happened here? Lots of light infantry. Okay. Let's see how it went down. Oh. Okay, they got distracted by the heavy infantry. And meanwhile, all this light infantry came over and attacked the prophet. Ooh, he just took a hit. Attacked the prophet and the archers. So that's a serious problem. These are samurai archers, and the interesting thing about samurai archers is they're actually pretty decent melee units. They're just really expensive in resources, which is why I'm not building them. Did manage to rout those guys before they could kill Masatoki, but Masatoki is now bleeding. Oh dear. Okay. I mean, he hasn't died yet, which is good, but my infantry are now routing. But the independent armies are routed, and he stopped bleeding. Okay, so. In Work Anum, I lost some income, that's fine. Masatoki is now heroically tough, which is nice. It gives him more hit points. But army-wise, most of his troops ran away, and all the rest of his Yamabushis died. I do have... Holy crap. I have 2 great iron mines here. So this is where I want a fortress, especially because it has scouts. Recruit scouts forever, please. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. You, I want you to change shape, because you can still breathe underwater and search for magic sites. Zinotogli will lead the army once that is a thing that's happening. For now, we're gonna not recruit any more Ichthyids. Akifusa. Yeah, the only spell I could cast right now is Summon Cave Grubs, which are not impressive. But that's fine, just keep researching. Research that conjuration, it'll be done in about 2 turns. Crossbowmen and heavy cav, no thanks. Let's see. They have crap morale is the problem, but let's see if they can take on 40 assorted infantry. Actually, I don't think they can. I don't think they can do that. I really, really doubt it. 11 gold, 19 gold, 25 resources, 22 resources. But I'm out of holy points, so I might as well recruit something. Well, let me see. How many samurai archers could I get? Because if I could expand with samurai archers, I don't think I could, though. I think I need the... I either need to expand with cavalry, which isn't going to be very, very useful because cavalry are not... They're not the best cavalry, to be honest. Or I have to rely on the Sohei and Yamabushis. And the Yamabushis are just so much better in melee. I might mix in some Sohei to increase the effective morale of the unit, I suppose. Let's do that, and then... some Akaoni Samurai, because Akaoni Samurai have good skills and great morale. Yeah, let's try that. These guys I don't think can actually accomplish what I want them to. So Koichi... Let's get Masatoki down to join him. Let's both attack this province. Ew, that's a terrible province to attack. Let's not do that. Oh boy, there is so much heavy cavalry. Yeah, it's going to take 2 turns. My expansion is going to be slow here, guys. It just is. Actually, if I could recruit the Elephant Corps, that would be fantastic. I'm going to bid like 120 or 130 or something for the Elephant Corps. Because I have money. Money is not my problem. My problem is expansion, but getting some elephants to trample these guys would really, really help. So let's try that. Let's go 1 or 2. Let's go 1 more turn. 3 commanders are doing nothing. Yeah, you just patrol. Don't care. You preach while you're up. Can't preach here. Okay, search for holy sites. Why don't you? This is going to have wizards, so that will be much more dangerous than it looks. Somebody claimed the Throne of Flames, and we have found no magic sites, and Rodya has got a new prophet. Okay. So we've got 15 of them. I will need another commander pretty soon. I'm just going to recruit an indie commander here. Now, Shugenjas and Master Shugenjas you can actually recruit without forts. Now, they do take 2 recruitment points, which means if you don't have an upgraded fort, they take 2 turns to recruit. But recruiting them without having to actually have a fort can be pretty cool. I need to start another Palisades there, which means I need 600 gold, which I can't get without stopping my recruitment of fishmen for a minute. That's fine. Build the Palisades, and I'll need to build a lab there as well. But with that many resources, I have to build a fort here. I just have to. Let's recruit a couple more Yamabushis here. General confusion now. Just move up here for now, for the nonce. Actually, I'm thinking with your 100 leadership, I might want you running around leading armies, question mark? Nah, probably not. Let's take this opportunity to recruit some Ashigaru just for fodder. Okay. So, we found Midgard. Pretty close to me. About 4 provinces away. Great. Okay, cool. I think we can deal with that. What we'll have to do is we'll just have to hit them really, really hard. I don't think Midgard has good archers. And our melee troops are actually pretty decent if they can get to melee. We're building a rock wall here. General Confusion is going to come back up on land for a while. He is going to have to go back down in order to build the lab and temple down here. Unless you have water magic. The Ring of Frost. I can research, if I research construction 2, I can get the Ring of Water Breathing. Which will, of course, allow my troops to go underwater, my commanders, that is. But I don't have construction on the agenda anytime soon, so it's going to have to be General Confusion who pops back down here to build that lab and temple. But that's fine, we can do that. Koichi is still just kind of hanging out, because it's going to take another turn for these guys to get to him. Who has some command? Omaru has some command. Let's have Omaru ferry down some more Sacred Soldiers for Masatoki to command. And next turn we'll be able to resume expansion. Okay, so I think that is going to do it for this video, guys. I really like Jomon. They're not the strongest. They're a little bit of a schizophrenic faction. They're hard to get a handle on. They can do a whole bunch of things, but they can't really do any of them very well. But I just like them. In particular, I really like their underwater units. Their underwater units and commanders are fantastic if you can use them. They're just so hard to get a hold of and to use effectively. But this should be a very interesting game. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.